Good evening guys, welcome back to yet another P3D video. It has been quite a busy week in the flight sim community. We've had announcements regarding the NG3 from PMDG where they did decide that they would only be releasing it for MFS 20, which is scheduled to come out sometime next year. We were fortunate enough to get the NGXu, which is the aircraft that you're looking at, and today we're going to be doing a flight in it from Barbados to Trinidad, which is just going to be around just over an hour flight time. Not my traditional flight, but figured I'd keep it short and talk to you about the aircraft as we go through the new features, and tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and hopefully give you some enough information that you guys can make a decision on your own as to if you want to get it or if it's a miss for you. So with the release of the NGXu, they haven't given us as much liveries as they would have in the past. I don't think they're more than maybe 20 to 25 liveries, hence why I'm actually flying in the United livery here. Usually I would probably have Caribbean Airlines for this livery. So hopefully shortly they would release a paint kit, as they haven't released a paint kit with the aircraft. I saw one painter, he had managed to get a livery made so far for it, but it's still a work in progress, so it's not released as yet. So until then, you might probably see a lot of the NGXUs flying around with liveries that quite don't belong in the area that they're actually going. But that's neither here nor there, because at some point there will be liveries for the aircraft. Let's have a look in the cockpit and then we'll start our pre-flight, load our flight plan, and then get ready for departure. So as you can see, the cockpit has been completely reworked and there is an EFB. There's also dynamic lighting on the inside as well as PBR, so depending on how the light hits again, you have different kinds of reflections and stuff like that. I've seen some persons saying that they don't like it. I personally like it. The only downside that I will say to it is that it's too dark for the because the lights don't give it as much, the lights don't shine as bright in here. Almost reminds me of the 787. Hopefully a fix will come for that, come to that soon from now on. Now for those who own the FS2 Crew, it doesn't work with this aircraft as yet. They're working for an update, so maybe in the next couple of weeks we will have FS2 Crew for this. This is going to be a manual flight. Starts up the same way as the NGX, so nothing has changed in that area. I just add some ground power here. And that's requested. Parking brake up. Okay, so we've got power. So flying this aircraft at night, it's kind of hard to see your switches and stuff, especially when it comes to the landing lights and stuff like that. They're a bit hard to see even with the lights on, unless you actually turn on the dome, and then it's ridiculously bright in my opinion. So I'm just gonna keep that off and work in the dark. just go into vPilot. Okay, so we've got our EFB here. It is similar to the EFB in Quality Wings. It can read stuff from the FMC. However, it does not send back output to the FMC like in Quality Wings. I did open a ticket on that with PMDG, and they said that it's not designed to be that way. That is designed to send information to a printer, but that feature is not enabled at the moment. So one of the drawbacks I've found with this is that if you overload the aircraft and then you go to do your performance, then when you try to correct it by lessening the payload, unless you go back through the performance all over again, it does not update in the FMC, and therefore it does not update in the EFB. But again, that's probably something that a software update can easily fix. Let's turn on our align our IRS. Now I probably will do some things out of sequence. I have not flown the 737 manually for quite a while. There's no GSX profile, so thanks to Alec Roberts, he made one and he shared with the flight sim community. So with that being done, we are actually getting the GSX lining up properly to the doors. Before, they had the wrong cargo loaders and nothing was actually happening. Oh, we've got company. Oh, the Antonov. Alright, so just bring this up here so you guys can see. So we've got air cards now in the 737. It's quite similar to the one in the 747 if you're familiar with that aircraft. It's now 7:06 p.m. Let's say we leave at 19:30. Not sure why it's not going in. Yeah, it didn't like when I put the dot in there. Okay, and we are away. Destination is TTPP 0115. Before I connect, I actually want to adjust my fuel. So my fuel is going to be let's say 13,000 pounds. And we're taking 160 passengers. So the back is full and the front has 4. Just adjust the fuel there so that we are still within limits. Alright, so that should be fine. We are now connect our data link. Perfect, that's fine. Request flight plan, select. Data link is now active, so we don't need to do anything else in here. I can come out of that. Ready to load. Can request our performance again from the air cards. And here comes the passengers. Alright, so the trip is going to take 4540, so let's say 4.5. to transition altitude in Barbados. Do a climb 1. Flaps 15. Alright, so that's it for the FMC now, except for the V-Space. We go to the EFB, initialize the flight, and then we can go here and do our performance. So for this, I'm going to need active sky for their weather. So we've got the wind at 100 at 16 knots, out of 100 degrees at 16 knots. So we are going to take runway 09 for takeoff. Can actually go back in here and put that in 09, and I'm going to delete the first waypoint. Thanks, BGI, as BGI is actually on the airport. And as usual, I just got disconnected from VATSIM. Okay, so takeoff thrust, runway 09. Flat configuration is going to be 15. Condition is dry. Air conditioning is on, anti-ice is off as Barbados hardly drops below 25 degrees. Currently 29 degrees. Now everything that you're seeing here in magenta is information that's actually coming from the FMC. Everything that is in green or white is what I've actually input. So it's already copied the weight from the aircraft, so I just need to put in my CFG, which was, I believe it was 27, yeah, 27.8. Okay, the wind is 100 at 16 knots. Hide keyboard for now. Make sure everything is copied over. That's fine. Calculate it. And now I've got my takeoff speeds. Alex Roberts, you did well. Alright. So back to it. Now here is where the EFB, in my opinion, stops being useful, because I would expect that if I'm sending the output, I will be sending it to my FMC rather than having to manually put it in. As you can see, what I'm actually getting here does not add up to what I'm actually getting in the EFB. So I'm going to use the speeds that the EFB gives me. It's a lower V1 but a higher rotate.
Baggage handling complete and the aircraft is clear.
And a higher V2. So that's that done for that part. Now I myself use Avalosoft, so I wouldn't be relying on the EFB for anything else outside of that. For persons who don't have it, they might find more use for the EFB, but for me personally, because it's very limited in terms of the functionality to it, I'm not overly keen on the EFB here. I'm the same way with the 748. I hardly ever use it, probably just as much as with the 787 as well, because I have better software that actually shows every part of the flight, and it gives me a lot more information, like traffic that's in the area on my flight level or on the ground, my gates and stuff like that. So not taking anything away from it, but for me this doesn't give, the EFB doesn't give as much as I would love it to give. So for others it might give a lot more. It's just down to personal preference really. Alright, so let's start the APU. See if I'm missing anything up here. Yaw damper can go on. Don't think I need my center fuel. No, that's empty, so I can keep the center fuel pumps off. Alright, so I've got my V speeds, so I'm going to be 135 for V2. I'm quite light and it's a very short flight. And we're climbing to flight level 220. Okay, all passengers on board, closing doors. APU is on. Okay, so we're set up and we're all good to go. Ground power disconnecting. Adams traffic United 1010 pushing back from gate 11. Adams traffic.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Let's see where that Antonov is. It looks like he's gone. So it's just us.
Locking gear. Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Even like the little bumps in the ground causes the wing flex. A lot of people are going to be very pleased with that. Alright, let's get started. Story number 2.
Set parking brakes.
Parking brake set.
Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Flaps 15.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Okay, take it a little too. No, it's right there. Now here's where it gets a little bit touch and go. The steering is not the best on this, it's quite sensitive, and you'll find that at low speeds even it feels a little bit jerky when you actually make turns. So you might find that it feels like someone's lifting the front and just jerking it around slightly every now and then. Adams traffic United 1010, taxiing to runway 09 via Alpha, Adams traffic. So you see it's not quite as smooth, it's a little bit jerky. Feels like something is actually dragging it around. So like FS Labs, it's just going to take a little bit of getting used to. Yeah, if you look at it, it looks like it's kind of like, I don't know. Now there's a lot of debate about this on the PMDG forums, because they're saying that this is the realistic way for the aircraft to move. I think somebody's misinformed. This moving like this is not normal. It's like kind of like the aircraft is skating. It's not really turning. And this is at 13 knots. So this is my biggest pet peeve at the moment. it's just not realistic to me. Now some of you might think differently, but the majority of us think that they got this completely wrong. Again, a future update might fix this, I don't know, but I'm hoping that it be much sooner than later. Now the good thing about persons that have purchased this add-on is that if you are looking to move to MFS 20, that the cost of this add-on is going to be discounted off of the NG3 when it comes out. So it is $99 or $100, one of the two. And when the NG3 come out, because I'll be going on MFS 20, I'm not going to say that I won't fly P3D after MS 20 comes out, but I would say that I'll probably be doing both. So if you do it between now and the 31st of December, you actually get 2 planes pretty much for the cost of one. So that might be incentive enough for persons to purchase this one. If it's not, then you might wait for the NG3, I guess. But despite all of that, I still am liking this more than the NGX. I love the NGX. I've done quite a lot of time on it. It's actually my first commercial jet in the sim community. So it does pull on my heartstrings every now and then. What I'm a little bit disappointed in is that the bar has been set so high by FS Labs. You've got icing simulated, you've got the heat simulated, whereas it affects the aircraft significantly. This is not simulated in this update. There's no icing. You can take off in icing conditions and the plane will fly as if there was if it was normal weather, to be honest. Adams Traffic United 1010 lining up on runway 09. Adams Traffic. Adams Traffic United 1010 taken off of runway 09. Adams Traffic. And let's go. Engine stable. It's okay.
V1.
Rotate. Me too.
Positive rear gear up. Feet. Autopilot on. Foot on, lights. One. Standard set. And flaps up. Takeoff checklist. Gear is up, lock and stowed, and we've got 0 flaps. So this is another change to the NGX. For the winds, we actually had to be manually putting in the winds. Here is just downloaded for you. So we're going to be doing the Als Turn Approach, and we've got a minimums at 265 feet. It's going to be on 104 degrees that we'll be flying into the airport. Transition altitude on our initial approach phase is also at 4,100 feet. Have a look at the weather again. Winds at 13 knots, so I'm going to add 7 knots onto our landing speed. So we're going to be doing 152 knots, and we're landing with 30 degrees of flaps. So that's it pretty much for the cruise. We're just gonna enjoy the views. Got about 45 miles before we start our descent. So I'll take this opportunity to take some pictures for Facebook. This is the boring part of the flight, so I'm just gonna stop the video here, and then we'll continue once we're at the top of descent. Welcome back. We are now reaching our top of descent for Trinidad. We're just at 22,000 feet, as it was just a 1 hour flight. So we're going to be descending down to 4,100 feet. Then we're going to drop down to 1,400 feet, as you can see here on the approach plates. And then from there we're going to shoot the ILS approach for runway 10. Had an issue with the shark intersection there. So I've actually removed that, but we make sure that when we get to that point we are at 4,100 feet, and then just over the PR code VOR we'll then be at 1,400 feet. PR code traffic, United 1010, descending through 2500 feet for 1400 feet at spare ILS 10 approach, PR code traffic. Flaps 1. PR code traffic, United 1010, turning on final for runway 10, PR code traffic. Okay, manual flight. Flaps 5. Individual. Overshot a bit. Here down. Flaps 15. Flaps 30. PR code traffic, United 1010, landing, runway 10.
141, pushing back from G7.
Wrong gate. We'll take this one and record GSS.
Baggage handling complete, and the aircraft's complete, and the aircraft's clear.
Okay, so this is my thoughts on it. The taxiing is an issue. They need to sort it out. Outside of that, I don't have many complaints. I think the EFB doesn't really serve a purpose there, but that's just me personally. As I said, I've got the Avlosoft that I rely on for the same stuff that I would expect to be in the EFB. So if it's there, at least have a little bit more functionality to it. If you're doing your performance in the EFB, there should be a way to send it back to the FMC rather than doing it all over again on your own. I can't fault the PBR. I love the wing flex. I love the idea that we've got the scimitars. However, to me, it's no different than the NGX. Yes, it's an update to it, but I don't really find, in my opinion, enough to actually justify the cost of the update unless you're taking advantage of the $100 off of the NG3 when it comes to MFS 20. The aircraft, it flies well. There's simulated rain effects on the windshield, so that's new. The ACARS integration is new as well. What I would have actually loved is to see a little bit more immersion. Similar to FS Labs, I would have loved to see a bit more integration with GSX, possibly icing conditions being simulated on the aircraft. It does not have that. So if I actually had to rate this update out of 10, I would give it a 6. Now you guys can take what you want from this. I'm not bashing PMDG in any form, shape or fashion, but I believe that the bar is set high enough and they were on top. They were kings or queen, well, kings, let's go with kings. They were kings of the simulation world for quite a while. FS Labs have entered the market, they've raised the bar, and I thought that its closest competition would have met the challenge, and if not exceeded it, then met it and bring both aircrafts on the same level playing field. Unfortunately, this has not happened. What will happen with NG3 is anyone's guess, but I do hope that they do more when that comes out. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was a long video, it was a whole flight. I appreciate it, and I will speak to you very soon. Take care and have a good evening. See ya.